Digital media is really important. It's the way a lot of things have gone. We're doing a lot of things online now, and so we need to use it a lot. But there's still a really important place for print in that as well. So maybe 30 years ago, junk mail was what you got through your letterbox. These days, you don't get that much through your letterbox. It's actually quite nice to receive something. Whereas getting an email 30 years ago was a bit of a treat because not many people emailed you. Now we get hundreds a day, and that's junk mail, and we don't want to open them. So digital media, if you're on social media, it's a really crowded environment. It's really hard to get noticed. With print, if you target it really well to the people that you want to reach, then it's a really valuable way to reach them. And also using multi-channels, so touching points on digital media is great, but if you can follow that up with something printed, then it has greater impact and you'll get a better return, a better conversion rate on what you're doing. So it's a really important part of marketing, as well, of course, print being really important in terms of signage and the way that you operate your business and the processes that you might have where you need to use forms and so on. It's not just about marketing. Print is used all over the place. When you look around, you'll see it everywhere.
Okay, so print versus digital media, yeah, for me, they've got to go hand in hand. So I don't think it's one or the other. I think you've got to combine the two. And I think they say something along the lines of your brand needs to be seen 16 or 17 times before someone actually says yes and buys from you. And I think that's got to be a good mix between print and digital marketing.
So what's brilliant about print is that it's tactile. It's something that you get to hold and feel and spend time looking at. If you think of reading a magazine, how much nicer it is to read the physical product than it is something on screen. Having that physical thing to hold and to keep is really important. And print can be just really nice to have and view, and there's value in that. And people notice it. It is something that you see because you don't have a lot of it at any one time. So there's a lot of value to print in that way.
The one big benefit for me is that it's tangible. So you can actually feel it, it's in your hands, and obviously there's things you can do with that as well which make it stand out from the crowd and therefore has a bigger impact than what necessarily things online, which certainly have a much shorter lifespan compared to tangible print. They like to have a touch and a feel, something with a bit of texture maybe. It's definitely appreciated by people.
So the number one thing with the brand is to keep things consistent. When you're building your brand up, you want people to recognise it. And it's very easy to have things that don't go together or a brand that changes. It's important that you get that consistency in there so people recognise what you are and all your products are clearly branded. So it's very important for us from the design side of things that we get that right for our clients. Second thing is to use it in lots of really creative and important ways. So it's important that we're doing things like workwear, so that your staff are clearly on brand, that you're using things like branded merchandise, which customers really like, and it stays with them for a long time, and it has your brand on it. It's important that all the literature that you do has your brand as part of it. Your signage and wayfinding so people can find you and find around your building is really important as well. So it's about that consistency and using it in a way that will benefit your customers but also improve your profile.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think you can come up with some clever marketing ideas. So for instance, we did some print for a sock company, and what they did was they were exhibiting an exhibition, and they actually sent one sock out to people before the exhibition because they knew who was coming, with it being a trade show, and told them to come to the stand and they can have the second sock for free. So you can be quite clever in getting your brand out there to people. I think certainly on the sock example, it's something that you're going to pick up and go, oh, I've got a sock, what do I do with this? And then it's like you obviously read what you got to do. It's like, oh, you turn up and then you'll get a free pair of socks out of it. So I think that's kind of clever and entices people to actually then come and see that customer, for instance. So it's just finding clever ways of getting people thinking and trying to be memorable with it, I think is important. I guess there's two elements to it, actually. I think first impressions is a big thing. And it's something that people forget. You kind of only have a few seconds to actually get that first impression across to people. So actually your print and your brand especially has to be kind of not perfect, but it has to be top notch for people to then obviously going to remember you, because what you don't want is to give them that negative first impression. So there's the element of that, and then obviously following on from that, it's every time they see your brand, obviously you need to live up to that standard and that expectation for the customer, for your brand. A good first impression is vital, and obviously the better your print media is. For the first time they handle a business card, it might be a brochure, or they might see a banner at an exhibition, for instance. Then it's good to make sure that it's on brand and top notch.
So lots of businesses in the pandemic have set themselves up online, and I think it's really important that when they're engaging with their customers, they've got great packaging and they can send out good offers with them and follow that up with great offers. So for those kinds of businesses, it's really important that you keep in touch with your clients, and we can give them lots of solutions for that with print. So it's important, I think, that you get your brand right early on. So we can help you with logo design. I think that's really important to get that part of it right, and then get consistency across all your printed products. Make sure they're professional. When you're setting up, you want to save money, but if you cut corners and try and do things yourself, obviously it can fall away, and you need to make that really good first impression. So get professionals involved who can really get your brand right and make sure that you're giving a professional appearance and being bigger than maybe you are when you're first starting out.
Because I think with any business, whether it's in the pandemic or not, it's important to get yourself out there and get yourself known, to talk to people, to build relationships with people. And again, that's where the first impressions are so important. And again, when people are seeing your brand out and about, you want to make sure that they recognise it and go, oh yeah, I've seen that before, I know that one. And they pop up again, it's like, oh yeah, I remember those guys. I'll have to look see what they do. And it just keeps you ticking over in people's minds.
Well, first of all, we really love supporting the local business community and helping them to succeed in what they're doing. We're a local family business, and we love to support other local family businesses. Plus, I think from a sort of a carbon footprint, it's brilliant to work with local businesses and not be sending things all over the country and travelling great distances. So we just like to, we focus mainly on Leicestershire businesses, and it helps us to raise our profile with working Leicestershire. And we just think that we can service those clients in the best way by being local, same-day deliveries. And when we need to see them, we can go and see them and talk to them and understand their business better by being local.
Shop local, definitely. I think shop local is great. We look at our customer base, and 95% of our customer base is Leicestershire businesses. So I think it's great for building those relationships. You can have conversations with people. You know exactly what you're going to get because you can actually talk that through with the local business, which sometimes you don't necessarily get that. We're all for shopping local.
Yeah, so first of all, print's a real success story when it comes to its environmental impact. I know people are concerned about using too much paper and about recycling, but first of all, it is the most recycled product that we produce. It's really high rates of recycling on paper. Secondly, paper grows on trees. It's a renewable resource. It's not something we're taking out of the ground that we can't replace. We're planting more and more trees across the world. In Europe, we've got more trees now and more forestry than we had since the Industrial Revolution. And we're adding several football pitches size of forests every day across Europe. So that's about the paper industry needing that paper, needing the trees to grow, and therefore we're planting more trees, which is great for the environment. Plus, cutting down old trees and planting new trees is actually better because it takes more CO2 out of the atmosphere, because younger trees need more CO2 in order to grow. So the actual production of paper is very environmentally friendly, and also we can recycle that paper into other uses, things like newsprint and toilet rolls and so on. So I wouldn't say you want to use recycled paper for paper jobs because it actually takes quite a lot of energy to create recycled paper. But the fact that when you have used the paper, it will get recycled into other products is really important. So paper is much better than using plastics. Single-use plastics is really bad, and so it's great to use paper envelopes, not plastic envelopes. And using print is actually pretty good on the environment. Like I say, it supports actually the carbon story with paper. And we work with companies like the Woodland Trust and replant trees based on our carbon usage. So we're actually getting ourselves carbon neutral through those kinds of means. So we're all responsible for looking after the planet, and as a business, we try really hard to do that. One of the big things that we've done is we've gone to zero emission vehicles. So we have 5 electric vehicles here, fully electric. We started with electric vehicles 7 years ago. We feel like we've been a bit of a pioneer for doing that. And we insist that all our company vehicles are fully electric. That means that we can have zero emissions of the tailpipe for all our deliveries locally that we do with those vehicles, and then staff coming to and from work are using zero emission vehicles. So that's fantastic. We've won a number of eco awards. Obviously, we're in an industry which we think is a very positive environmental story. And we do a lot of recycling here, not just paper, but as much else that we can do. We've used low energy lighting and so on. We've done audits. We're just currently on a new scheme that the LLEP have set up, which helps us to evaluate what we're doing with energy usage and try and reduce that. So we're very much about trying to save resources and do things as environmentally friendly as we can do. Our printing equipment is very low wastage. We've gone away from presses that need a lot of sheets to set them up to very small wastage on what we do. Digital print that allows us to do more shorter targeted runs for our clients, that rather than them wasting paper by having lots of stuff they need to throw away that they never use. So we work really hard to try and keep our carbon footprint as small as we can.
I think there's a bit of a misconception around about the print industry, actually. I think people do try and kind of look at it and think, oh, maybe it's not that environmentally friendly, but actually it's more environmentally friendly than people think. So obviously a lot of paper comes from Europe. The forests in Europe, they're actually growing, which is again another misconception. People don't necessarily realise that's the case. We go on tree planting days through our paper supplier. There's lots of other things that we can do as a business as well. So for instance, we have vegetable-based inks within the printer. We are digital printers predominantly, so the majority of the sheets of paper we actually print onto are used within the print run, so there's not very much wastage. I think there's the stats about paper. I think it's something like 72% of all paper is actually recycled these days as well, which is quite a high figure actually when you think about it. And they say something like only 79% is actually achievable or attainable. There's always going to be a certain amount that will never get recycled. So we're not far away from maxing out on that front. What do we have? We have a fleet of electrical cars here as well. So we've jumped onto the electric car bandwagon as a company. Yeah, we're always looking out for better materials and things that are environmentally friendly, and try our best to keep ahead of the game as much as we can. Not always easy.
There's four of us in the business that are family members, so we really are a family business. We've been trading for 23 years, so we're really well established as a business. And I think probably one of the big things people don't know is that we're not just a printers. We have designers in our team, so we do design, we do print, we do a lot of branded merchandise. We do a huge amount of different signage, whether that's internal signage or external signage, whether it's soft signage like flags and pull-up banners. And we do quite a lot of workwear as well. So it's quite a variety as to what we do. And we find that our customers can use us for a massive range of products.
So I think one is definitely that we've been around for 23 years now. So that's people don't realise we've been around for that long. Trying to keep it interesting, wow. I think this site here in Bilston, in the actual office, people don't realise where we are, and we've been here a good 18 years as well now, so we've been here a good long while. So I think that's always a surprise to people. It's like, I didn't even know there was a business park here, let alone you guys being here. So that's definitely one. I think people are always surprised by the range of actual products that we offer. It's not just design, it's not just print, there's promotional merchandise, there's signage, and kind of everything that goes between that as well. So anything printed, we pretty much do it.